Let's go, John.
We have somebody rooting on John here. We're just starting our second match here for the feature matches in week 5. We got John R, who I'm going to be looking at from his perspective, playing looks to be a white deck against Spaghetti Mitch, who is on an 11 game winning streak here. So they're both in the top 8. So they're both doing very well here. John at 16-6 in his second full league. He joined us in DMU. And Mitch has
Nice.
been with us for since the beginning, pretty much. So what's his hand looking like over there?
Yeah, so he's got an 11-0 record with what looks to be a tricolor deck.
Okay.
I'm seeing 2 white spells in hand with no white source of mana, but he does have a Giggle he could play on turn 4 if he gets to a 4th land. He's got a Power Stone Fracture, and as far as his white card, he's got the Initiate, the training thing from Vow, or
Right.
maybe the other set, I don't remember, Lauren's Escape, and then uh, Prison Sentence.
Right. So he needs some. So he needs some planes, is what we're.
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, he's got nothing he can do except for sacrifice the wings if he wanted to kill something.
Right. Well, I don't think he's going to need to do that yet. So John's actually deciding what he wants to do this turn. He could play Pristine Talisman or Maze Mind Tome or Combat Thresher. He's going to go for Pristine
Okay.
Talisman. So he's playing a red-white deck. He also has a Giant Cindermaw, Warlord's Elite, and Lauren's Escape in hand. So
Oh, nice.
he's got plenty of things to do here. So we're going to see what some winning decks look like. Again, John 16-6, Mitch 15-5. So both of them are presently in top 8, looking to cement their positions here as we go into the final stretch. All right, so like I said, John would not be unhappy to see some land. So he has drawn a Scrapwork cohort that he can cast. He'd happily trade this off and get a Power Stone to cast more things.
Yeah. Does he have a 4th land in hand?
No, but he can cast a Scrapwork cohort here, which he's decided is the
There you
best play.
go.
So
Opting to do that rather than the Warlord's Elite.
yeah, well, if he draws a land next turn, he can go Maze Mind Tome and the Warlord's Elite. So
That's true. So he did actually pick up that much needed white mana source here. So the
all
rest of
right,
his hand is now online.
so right on time there. Is that
Oh,
a
interesting milk here.
is that a Stone Coil Serpent? Wow. Okay.
That is a Stone Coil Serpent. Yeah.
What a card! Yeah, that's a
Leech
nice one.
trample protection from multicolored.
Yeah, so he leaves the
Not too many
Simulacrum
multicolored.
in the graveyard, though. Based on his mana base, I think that's just for the front
Yeah, I think
side.
people are just running this card just because it's a 3 mana 4/3.
Oh
It's an
yeah,
excellent stat line.
yeah. It's 3 mana 4/3, where two of the 4 power can be with basically like haste, because you could put on
I
something
mean, who
else.
hates seeing this card in any deck? I mean, in the green deck, it's even better. But yeah, I mean that card's just a house.
Yeah, so he hasn't drawn. John here has not drawn the land just yet. He's drawn a Yoshin Frontliner, which I mean, is good when you're able to attack, but his attacks here are not great, and he's come to the conclusion that his attacks are not great.
Yeah, I mean, he can really only attack with a 3/1, which I mean, you wouldn't
Yeah.
be devastated about trading it for the Death Toucher, but it doesn't clear up space on the future board.
Okay, so he's tapping his 3/1 here, which he could have just tapped the 1/1 token and the Yoshin Frontliner if he cast it before, but let's see if Mitch decides that there's something better than just casting a 5/5 for 5 here.
I mean, John does want to be a little concerned about the fact that Wings is on the board. So, I mean, Spaghetti Mitch does have attacks, whereas John might not in future turns.
Yeah, I do think though that if Mitch is just playing one thing per turn and John's flooding the board, John can race one creature flying him with like a bunch of smaller attackers. Yeah, we'll see. He has a Lorenz escape to win combat at some point. So
Opting to not show it by just playing X for 5 there.
yeah, he's come to the conclusion that the best play was a five
I
five for
mean,
5. So more
yeah, with
red
a 4/4
cards.
board, yeah.
Yeah, more red cards being drawn here for John.
Ah,
I would not be surprised if he just decides to draw a card immediately with the
I
tome.
mean, I
I
want to
mean,
see that red mana as quickly as possible.
yeah, he's passing with like leaving up Lauren's escape, but like none of the creatures on his board matter enough.
Hmm.
I think I'd be interested in just drawing the card immediately with the base mind tome.
Yeah,
It's
I mean
like
he's got what, like two red cards in hand currently, or
yeah, two red cards. Yeah, like none of his cards are worth using a Lauren's escape on right now. I don't think.
yeah, I
So
think Mitch recognizes that he's got attacks. John doesn't really have great attacks just
yeah,
yet, so he's just going to start getting some damage in.
yeah. This is these are big chunks of damage here, 6 at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John's just gonna most likely use the Maze Mind Tome at end step to draw the card. But if it's two lands running, he might be a little regretful. If the top two cards of his deck are both lands, he would want them both in
Yeah, there's
play.
some like small arguments we made about like leaving up some mana to like dissuade your opponent from attacking. It doesn't look like it's dissuaded Spaghetti Mitch from attacking here at all.
Yeah, I mean he's got the ground covered up. All right, Hopeful Initiate. It's an interesting one. So that's actually live with all the counters on the Stone Coil.
Oh, can move in any source.
I think the activation is 3 mana, or
Yeah,
but with all those counters, he can take 2 of them off to kill anything he wishes.
very fun mini combo there between those two
Yeah,
cards.
that's cool. So he's gonna nab the Stone Coil Serpent. So
He does have the escape in hand. He's going to pitch it here.
yeah. So unfortunate here for John. He's gonna have to keep getting hit in the air with that.
I mean, John will at least get a Power Stone out of the trouble. He sees a Vanguard or a Dawn Guard, a Gavany Dawn Guard from one of the Crimson Vow
Okay,
sets.
it was the one white 3/3, right?
Yeah, really good at
Yeah,
accruing
yeah,
value,
that was a
especially
good
in
one.
the three CMC or less lowers. Three CMC or less, which is the black and white um, theme for this set.
Yeah, if it fits in nicely. I mean, that card's just always good, but it's
Yeah.
even better here. It would be good. You drop that card into any set and it's good, but it's even better here. Yeah, so John, left in hand, he still has the 2 red cards, neither of which would make a big impact on the board. He has a Lauren's Escape and a Combat Thresher still behind.
Okay, does decide to cash in the frontliner here.
Yeah, so John decides he does need to attack here in order to try and fight this damage that's coming in every turn from the Serpent. He can't just sit back.
I like this attack.
Yeah, I mean he's giving up the frontliner, but his other attacks are pretty nice. I imagine Mitch is interested in trading at least the War Plow for something.
Yeah, I mean 6 damage is pretty significant here.
Like the argument is that War Plow could trade for something bigger, but if he sees the John's playing a Boros stack, there's not going to be anything much bigger than this. But he keeps them in play. So by not blocking it, it still holds off the Warlords Elite because John does not want to trade that for a 1/1 Death Touch. So he held it back because he didn't want to give up that for the Death Toucher.
Must be very confident in his ability to stabilize here because I mean he did pick up the. We know about the Vanguard, so we can use that as a ground blocker. But like 10 health is not exactly the place I want to be against the Boros deck.
Yeah, and unfortunately, John doesn't really have any ways to push damage in his hand. He does have a giant Cindermaw, which can negate life gain if that comes up. But
Well, there are ways to gain life, but certainly not an irrelevant card in this sort of matchup.
yeah, well, especially if you're racing and one player's trying to gain life to offset the race. John's deck just by nature wants to be on the front foot and attacking, so he's not going to let this Stone Coil Serpent dissuade him from trying to get Mitch dead here. He might need to start leaving it back on defense.
He's got a lot of options here in hand. He's got this Prison Sentence. He's got this Dawn Guard, an Overwhelming Remorse, and a Power Stone Fracture. So it's just about what can I do to get the most value out of this 5 mana available to me?
Yeah, he can cast, I guess, Power Stone Fracture and Dawn Guard. But
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be taking a line similar to that.
yeah, so the Gavany Dawn Guard here, I don't think it's going to be flipping tonight anytime soon. But it's just a 3 mana 3/3, like pretty good. It does threaten to potentially draw a card at some point if the game does get into a stall, but John's going to be casting spells for the next few turns.
Yeah, Spaghetti Mitch just decided that nothing here is exactly worth fracturing, so he's going to hold on to that for now.
Yeah. So it looks like John he drew mounted. It looks like he just wants to continue this these assertive attacks. He's thinking he was dragging frontliner to possibly be unearthing it, but he's now taking a moment to just. I think he's gonna just now he's thinking about combat thresher, just casting it for 7 now that he has 7 mana.
I mean,
So
dredging up the ocean frontliner does allow him to do a similar attack to the one he did last turn to give him something quasi favorable by attacking with the 3/1 and then the 2/1 pumping it up to a 3/2.
yeah. So one thing to note is that the giant cindermaw will actually turn off the pristine talisman,
That is a bit of a
which has been
blunder.
gaining him like a life ever since it's been in play. So it's been in play starting from turn 3.
Also, you might want to be aware of the fact that, Tom, after 4 charges, will be able to give him the surplus of 4 life. So maybe
Yeah,
he's going to wait until he gets all charges before he puts that thing on board.
yeah. I think he looks like he's gonna make similar attacks to last turn.
Okay.
Yeah, so same attacks. Gonna pump the power. Okay, he's sending the warlord here. Um, maybe he's figured my Lorne's escape is not going to get better than protecting my 4/4 from a death toucher.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely worth 1 mana and a card.
Yeah, this death toucher has just been holding off a lot of the potential attacks that John could have been making.
From John's view, yeah, I mean, that's the one thing stopping him from really dissuading Spaghetti Mitch from swinging in the air with that 6/5 any longer.
Yeah, so he's going to make the somewhat clear blocks here.
Does value the 1/2, of course, because of its ability to remove counters to get rid of artifacts and enchantments.
Yeah, very very cool little ability there. I don't think he wants to use the ability, but he will if he feels that he needs to. All right, he's got a prison sentence on top here from the
Ah,
scribe,
nice.
so
That's a very good card to see.
that's gonna stop some of the pressure here. But the thing is, the aeronaut swings can get moved around. But again, he's on the front foot. He wants to stay on the front foot here. He wants to make it so that aeronaut swings doesn't do anything, and Mitch can't attack anymore.
Yeah, I think John's done a really good job of responding in kind to the aggression from Spaghetti Mitch, punishing him in some respects for trying to get in this extra damage over him.
Yeah, I think in a way, Mitch could have put the wings on like the next best creature to attack and just left his 5/5 back,
Mm-hmm.
and John can basically never really get through it with what he had. I mean, now he has a prison sentence, but he
Looks like
previously
he's
couldn't really
gonna.
do anything. So if he was like holding back and maybe just attacking with like the Gigamole or something for 3, he'd have a stone coil, which would mean John could not attack anymore. Right. So
Some props to Spaghetti for being aware of the fact that he killed off enough of his board to enable the remorse this turn. Let's see if he decides to do it. Yeah, he is going to use.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, just get rid of that cohort. Doesn't want that to get unearthed. I'm taps here with you know with
I
not
mean, with the
too
blue
much
balls of his
movement.
own.
So now the hopeful initiate ability seems very
Very good.
useful because the stone coil is just sitting there doing nothing. So John kept a creature on top of his deck. It's called a Blade Blizzard Kitsune. So it's a
Oh.
double strike creature that's also a ninja, has ninjutsu.
Ah, yes, from the Kamigawa block.
Yes, I believe it's 3 to cast and 4 to ninjutsu for a 2/2 double strike. All right, so in comes the initiate. He's gonna get his own counter too. Yeah, he's gonna keep attacking here. He's not afraid.
Yeah,
He can also just sack the stone quill to kill something as well. All right. So prison sentence on the 4/4. So everyone's in prison here.
he did bottom 2 lands. Figures
Yeah,
I
very
got
good.
enough mana to do what I want next turn anyway.
All right, so he's gonna play a
No more
Cindermaw
life
here.
in.
He's gonna play a Cindermaw, which turns off the Maze Mind ultimate and the Pristine, but says I'm ahead on life, so I don't care. All right.
I hope
Yeah,
John is aware of the fact that he can get rid of that prison sentence on the coil whenever Mitch wants.
yeah. So we don't know if John sees that or realizes that the hopeful initiate ability is on. It was just really, really rare for it to be on in Crimson Vow. There just wasn't a lot of
Yeah,
artifacts and enchantments to kill, and training was just not a great mechanic. So it's just like that card kind of was forgotten. But looks like it's found a home here, especially next to that big Stone Coil Serpent. So we'll see if Mitch decides to use the initiate at some point. But he still has the Power Stone Fracture in hand, and
yes, and he just drew a mole for the turn, so he's got a big decision here in terms of whether or not he wants to try and using the activation and the powerful fracture, or if he just wants to mull and see what he dredges up.
yeah. So the activation could again be used to destroy the prison sentence, or could hit the combat thresher. But seems like the prison sentence would be what he wants to knock off here. But he can do that instant speed.
Yeah, and it's only two counters he has to remove, if I remember the ability correctly.
Yeah, it's 2 counters among creatures, so it could be one. It could be 1 and 1.
He technically has three available to him if he can, if he has enough time to activate.
Yeah, three total activations. Yeah, but his lack, I think he would have liked to draw another land at some point here to be able to do multiple things.
He had the choice. He did bottom two swamps last turn.
Yeah, I mean he needs to draw action still. So right, he's just gonna get rid of this Cinder Maw. Okay, that's the biggest creature in play. So he's sacking the Power Stone Engineer, which should indicate to
That's sort
John.
of
It
the
should indicate to John that there's a reason he's keeping the Stone Coil around. It's because he can get rid of the prison sentence. So
yes.
he might feel. He might feel like he could just start attacking here. He could attack for 4 and put.
I mean, if you think that this 4/4's turned off, it's not the craziest attack I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch has,
No, I
or
think you're on the
John
second.
has a total of 3 power in play. I mean, one of it has double strike, so effectively 4. But he's gonna wait. He says, I feel like I need to wait. So John's picked up a couple of nice cards here. He's got a
Well, that was good
Falaji
too.
Vanguard, which is the red white uncommon from the set,
Okay.
which pumps creatures +2/+0 whenever creatures come
Oh,
in.
that card is super good with Thresher on the
Yeah,
field.
and he's got an Aeronaut Cavalry, which is the 5 mana 3/4 flyer, which can put a counter on a soldier, of which
Yeah,
he has a little one on
that's a
there.
lot of good action.
Yeah, and he's got the previously mentioned Ninja there. So I do believe. I mean, I don't know if it'll come up that he could do it in combat, but I believe you can use Power Stones to ninjutsu a card in.
I think so, right? It's definitely an
It
ability
makes
as
sense.
opposed
Yeah,
to the
it's not
backup.
casting it, so yet another use for Power Stones.
And a card you're definitely not expecting to see.
No. Right, so he's gonna pump his double striker here, and looks like
And then
he's
Jitsu would be sick because he can surprise pump the Thresher even more because he's guaranteed to have at least one thing, go unblocked here.
not necessarily. If Mitch gets rid of the prison sentence
That's
during
true.
combat, he could block everything.
And he
Uh,
really should
and
right now.
his
The
blocks are
moment
pretty
passed.
good. All right, so he's not gonna. He's actually not gonna block here.
He's just dead here, right? No, he's not dead.
No, because he can. The
When
blade
you're dead, you can do
actually.
that.
Oh, the blade blizzard could kill him. Yeah, the
You're
blade
taking
blizzard.
6.
The blade blizzard will get +2. Yeah, from the Falaji.
Maybe Spaghetti Mitch has realized his mistake too late.
Well, there's no way he could play around a ninja though.
No, that is true, but he certainly could have activated to get rid of the prison sentence before blocker
Yeah,
step. Or
I was thinking he was gonna do that.
yeah, and this is a huge damage swing. The Vanguard's going to pump the double striker an extra 2 points. I mean, the double striker itself is going to be 4 points.
There's two double strikers here, so
Yeah.
so Mitch can still kill the combat thresher with the ability, but it's not gonna matter because this thing's gonna hit for 8 on its own.
That's a crazy fun combo. I like seeing this in the other.
I mean, yeah, you're not expecting a ninja, particularly out of white red. I mean, if your opponent's playing blue black, you're not expecting a ninja, and those are the ninja colors. It was the one white ninja in the set, and it's
Yeah, one
coming in a
small mistake
blaze of
and letting
glory
that
here.
one come in, and yeah, because of that one not blocking that one, he unfortunately loses out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's a very specific card. I think Mitch is probably thinking to himself like, there's very few other cards that could have actually killed me there
Yeah.
because he had the kill on the combat thresher, right? So the combat thresher was getting killed, and there was one damage getting in. But I mean, even that strategy loses to like a Loran's escape, right?
Mhm.
So even if he didn't have the ninja, if he has Loran's escape, he didn't even block the 1/1 token, so it's 7 right there. So he could have been a little more conservative and safe with his blocks there. Looking at Cyborg here. So John has gone very aggressive. He's playing 22 lands here in his
Mm.
deck. Uh, so he's really wants to be low to the ground. He does have a few high drops, but a number of them have prototypes. You can cast them for less.
Gotcha. The most expensive thing I'm seeing in his deck is a lock Lockmore Serpents.
Oh boy, Lockmere Serpent. Yeah, that's a 6 mana 7/7 flash with multiple other upsides.
I
yeah,
remember this card. This card is it's quite the doozy.
yeah,
It looks like that.
that's
That's his only blue splash. So he's running two islands, and that's his only blue card. The rest of his deck is entirely um, just white black.
okay. Yeah, so John, I don't think really figured he wanted to sideboard much. Again, his deck. I mean, 22 lands is quite low for our format, and he does
Yes.
want to get to like 4 and 5 every game. So, maybe I mean I didn't get it. I didn't see all of his cards, but maybe he feels he can power through his deck a little bit. He has a couple Power Stone makers.
Yeah,
Feels okay about
exactly. I
it.
was thinking Power Stones.
But now he's looking at a hand of 0 lands here, so that's not going to work.
Oof. I mean, Spaghetti Mitch is an interesting decision here because he doesn't have the white mana source he needs in this deck, but he does have Dreams. Okay, he's going to toss it anyway.
Okay, so they're both going to mulligan here.
Much more acceptable hand on Spaghetti Mitch's side over here.
Okay. All right, so yeah, John has a very very playable hand here. It's he has 2 lands, but with a third, he's going to get a fourth because one of the cards in his hand is the Restoration of Iganjo,
Love that card.
another rare from Kamigawa here. That one will get him a
Quite the combo.
plains.
Quite the pack he got from that set, huh?
Seems to be. Yeah, so he's gonna look. He's gonna bottom. It looks like he's thinking about bottoming the military discipline here. Yeah, so he's got a
Yeah,
Power
I'm
Stone
pushing that over
Engineer
there.
on 2. He's got a Giant Cindermaw and the Fox Ninja again, the 3-drop, and the Restoration of Aganjo. And he's trying a Skitter Beam Battalion here, which is pretty good on 5.
Oh, nice.
So he does need his
Um,
third land, but until then he'll at least be able to cast his Power Stone Engineer. All right, so he's drawn his third land, so he's set up. He's going to be able to play his spells, this game.
Unfortunately for Mitch, that is his only creature in hand. He does have two forms of removal. One is not really, it's Power Stone Fracture, so he can't really afford to cast that anytime soon, but he also does have Legion to Ashes,
Okay,
which
that's
is
the
the
exile land.
exile permanent. Yeah.
All right, so Spaghetti Mitch does not want to trade his Thraxodemon,
No.
and John wants to trade his Power Stone Engineer. So looks like John's going to get in 2 damage here. So interesting to see what he does here. He could, probably the most straightforward play is to play his Giant Cindermaw and put the pressure on. Yeah.
I imagine that will definitely take up the only. Oh, okay. So a good use for his mana here in picking up Dreams of Steel and Oil. So at least the players he will have knowledge of John's hand, of course.
Yeah. So next turn, with his draw of Loran's Escape, John can next turn play like Restoration of Iganjo and then get a Plains and leave Loran's Escape up if he chooses. Uh, so Mitch can choose between the 2 creatures here, Skitter Beam or the Blade Blizzard that burned him last game. But
Yeah, I
Blade
mean,
Blizzard is a lot more manageable when you know it's there. So he's just gonna go for that scary bomb there, this Skitterbeam
if
Battalion,
I'm
and he's gonna just get rid of this 4/3. He's gonna save himself some damage here.
if I'm Mitch and I'm seeing that hand, I am not feeling super confident about the way this match is going because the Iganjo is just a threat in and of itself, and I'm sitting on a piece of removal I can't even cast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, once a Ganjo flips, if he really feels the need, he can Power Stone Fracture, but with the Thrax Demon, but you never want to do that. Yeah.
No,
So
just another line off the top here.
yeah. So John drew Syndrome on number 2 for the turn and decided, well, the first one was good, so this one's gonna be this one's just as good. So he's just gonna apply the pressure here. He's gonna keep it going. All right. Here's a land
Yeah, poor
for
Mitch is just
John.
running in ones here.
So now his ninja is the ninjutsu is active. And Mitch has what is he? He has Power Stone Fracture.
Just another land, unfortunately.
Another land. Hmm. Yeah, if he doesn't find a way to get this 4/3 off the board, this is gonna end
He knows he's got
very.
to answer at least two more other cards. This is really rough.
Yeah, like he sees the hand here. He sees the Restoration of Aganjo, which takes a couple turns before it turns into a threat. But the Blade Blizzard is a present threat.
Also, knowing that your opponent has Lorne's Escape in hand,
Yeah.
this Power Stone Fracture requires both something to sacrifice and it's going to get negated. It's got to feel really bad to be on Mitch's side of the screen right now.
Yeah, he needs to draw like multiple creatures here. Yeah, so this is just going to happen. And so now second main phase, he can either cast his Restoration or he can just play his Blade Blizzard as a creature. Right, so he's going to go get a land here. And next turn, he can bring his Power Stone Engineer back into play,
Yeah,
which
another
is
threat.
probably desirable. He does have some expensive cards, but none of them are in his hand right now.
This is going to be way too slow, unfortunately. He does find a
Yeah,
creature, but it's this foreboding statue, which only gets relevant in 3 turns later.
that one's gonna be too slow for this board here. That just doesn't block anything, and the mana is not relevant because he's got all of his he's got all the lands already. It's something to to sack the Power Stone Fracture, but he sees
That is true.
he sees with the Lorenz Escape that that's not really an option unless he draws a second removal.
I mean, I don't remember seeing a worm coil engine in his list, but I feel like that is the only draw that sort of deals with everything that Ged has available to
Well,
at
I'm
his
gonna
disposal.
I'm gonna give you some bad news that even if it came down,
Doesn't.
John drew prison sentence for the turn. So
Oh my gosh.
so
Okay.
even like an A plus blocker is off the table
Yeah.
here.
I mean, I don't want to call it too short, but I mean, still an 11-0 run is very impressive. But it seems like it will be coming to an end very shortly.
He's gonna blame the feature match spotlight for getting in his eyes, blinding him. Look, well, not to discount John again. He's relatively new to our league. Just came in DMU, and he's 16-6 and looking to get to 17-6. So he's going to be
The deck looks consistent, looks aggressive. Yeah, it does not look like something I would want to be playing against.
yeah, just so many good 2 and 3 drops. Like we just saw so many high quality low drop plays, and just Cinder Maws and rares as well, and just up and down the curve that Falagi Vanguard, and just enough removal to get the job done here. So the war plow, a good draw in theory, but in practice, it's going to end up in prison here.
And with that, I think he does it need to.
Well, no, Mitch has to block here.
He would basically be set to 1. Yeah.
Well, he just has to throw his statue under the Blade Blizzard. No, the Restoration can't attack yet, but now it can with the Bitter Reunion.
It
So
looks
he's
like he's
actually going
going
to be
to.
dead.
Yeah.
I believe the 1/1. There's the 1/1 attacking that it makes.
That would
No.
be.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, so he's giving it haste. So it does not naturally have haste, but he granted it with the bitter reunion that he drew for the turn.
Gonna float that white mana just in case.
So all
Oh
kinds of
man,
trouble here for Mitch.
another planes on top. Come on, give this
Yeah,
guy a
just
break.
you know, sometimes we get these 50-minute, hour-long battles in the feature match, and sometimes we get these matches
Sometimes,
that end a
yeah,
little quick. But good job to Mitch for his 11-game win streak. But it has found an end here, and congratulations to John, and best of luck for both of these players as they are hopefully marching towards top 8 appearances as we wind down the league. And
yeah.
we'll be
Regardless of
back a bit
outcome, I'm
later
definitely
for the
expecting to
next
see them.
feature match.